Welcome to Right Fit Leader, a podcast from Alec Broadfoot and the Hire with Confidence team at Vision Spark. This is where visionaries, entrepreneurs, and leaders learn how to hire leaders, lead better, and build teams that last. Through expert insights, real client stories, and conversations with top leaders, you will hear how we find A players for your business. This is Right Fit Leader.
Hi, Jay. Thank you for joining us today live at the EOS Conference at the Vision Spark podcast, a Right Fit Leader podcast. We're excited to have you.
Thank you for having me, Jen.
Yeah, so you just gave a session here at the EOS Conference.
Yep.
Tell our listeners a little bit about what your company does and who you help and what your session was about.
Yeah, so my company is The Conscious Professional, and we do consulting, speaking, coaching, workshops, and the majority of our work is on resilience and leadership and communication. So how do we lead people through change, chaos, uncertainty, unknowns, which so many people can relate to now, right? And what's going on in the world and business. So today's session was the frameworks that I've seen working with leaders at Google and Amazon and TikTok and Tesla. And these frameworks, I think, are very actionable and also apply to the EOS community here because I think the values very much align.
Yeah, that is great. I have a question for you. So on this podcast, we talk a lot about the Right Fit Leader. When do you know if a leader is ready to be coachable and can be coached versus when they're maybe not the right fit for an organization or a visionary of a company?
Well, I think in the very initial stage of an interview, you can always find out information at the very early stages. I mean, if someone, for example, in an interview is asking about what they get, how much they're going to be compensated, and that's the only thing they seem to be asking about. It's okay to ask about those things.
Yeah.
But if it seems to be the most important and it's the only thing they really seem curious about, that suggests that that person is not of the mindset of service, and that oftentimes can be problematic. So what I say is, if you ask a person, well, why do you want to be a leader? What's important to you? What do you care about? And you find that the answers are service-oriented and about the impact that they want to make, that's enough to tell you, okay, let's keep this conversation going. If it's the opposite, then you may have someone who may be a better fit to be an individual contributor.
Yeah, that's great. And how do you help the companies that come to you? What are they experiencing when they come to you, and how do you help them through that? Yeah,
what they're experiencing is people trying to do more with less. There are less resources available, and what they want are their people to be able to perform at a high level. And I work with CEOs or oftentimes associations where they want their people to also be happy. They don't want just employees that just check boxes and get results. They want people who are actually happy when they go home. They love their work and they're satisfied. So the ways in which I approach it is, let's not talk through how we reduce stress. That's actually not what the research suggests is the best approach. It's how you reframe stress or how you relate to stress. And we want to teach people to recognize that stress isn't all bad. It's actually, stress means there's something meaningful, something you care about. So if we could shift our perspective on stress and demand without overloading our people too much, that's the real lever to pull. And I feel like oftentimes people default to, I just need to cope, I just need to numb, I just need to escape. That's proven to be ineffective in the long run.
Okay, great. And how about with the work that you've seen with organizations, when they're bringing new people into the fold, is there a practice or something that you think that's really helpful to ensure that people are aligned with companies' culture and core values and personalities?
Yeah, Jen, I think that the introduction into an organization is critical to the success of that leader and then the success of the team of whom that leader supports. So I think that companies that are getting it right invest heavily in onboarding, invest heavily in how they introduce someone into the company. There needs to be structure. We need to have expectations as to, okay, I get through this part, then this and this. Because what's too often happening is someone gets into a leadership position and they're saying, okay, throw them in the fire, you figure out how to put it out, right? And that's it's a real problem when we try and do that to people. So I feel like the organizations that get this right have a very structured onboarding process where they introduce them into culture introduce them into values before it's, okay, we have this fire and we need you to go figure out how to put it out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So if our listeners want to connect or find you, how would they go about doing that or reach out to you?
Yeah, so my website is jayabbasi.me, and I'm also really active on LinkedIn. So anyone who just searches Jay Abbasi on LinkedIn, I should pop up pretty quickly, and we post there regularly, so that's another way to find me.
Awesome. Well, thank you for all the work that you do in the EOS community, and thank you for being here. We're so excited to have you as one of our guests, and we hope our listeners take the time to learn more about you and reach out.
Thank you so much, Jen.
Have a great day.
You too.